Speaker, I'm Honorable Frederick Maina from Inoi 1.
January 2023 at 10:30 a.m. We beseech you to behold with your abundance favor as your servants
Of the Chief Officer for Public Works and Housing.
the 9th of January 2023 at 10:30 a.m. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled and grant that we treat and consider the 9th January 2023 and in furtherance to the provision of Section 9 of
read on the table of this assembly on Monday.
That the Assembly adopt the report of the Departmental Committee
on Finance and Economic Planning, Honorable Kenneth Mutembei.
Appointment of Mr. Frederick Mutembei as the
are of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
It has many of a contrary opinion. A manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the
Report of the approval hearing of a candidate nominated to the position of the Chief Officer.
To issue a notice of a motion as follows. That this Mr. Peter Moremi Jero as the Chief Officer for County Department on approval hearing of candidates nominated for the position of the Chief Officer.
The provision of Section 9 of the Public Appointments County Assembly.
And I want to confirm to this honorable house that this Joseph Caridas Otieno, I've worked with the person for the last 5 years, was a Director Procurement Services. And Mr. Speaker, as having today approving this gentleman, I'm sure we are not going to take much time that is required to procure whatever projects we approve the supplementary budget. And for that reason alone, Mr. Speaker, I rise to support and urge the honorable members of this assembly to support one Joseph Caridas Otieno to this position of Chief Officer Finance. He's a gentleman, he's going to deliver to the promises that we made to our people, and whatever projects that we have in the budgets are going to be implemented on time. I support.
The nominee has worked as a Deputy Director Communication and Liaison Department in the County Government of Kirinyaga and has worked as a Digital Director at Priesthood Fellowship Church as a Youth Talent Consultant at Caliph Entertainment. The nominee has attached the following statutory documents as required. 1. Compliance certificate from Higher Rules Board. 2. Tax compliance from Kenya Bureau. Receipt for certificate of good conduct. Then certificate of clearance by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. In matters communication, the committee observed that the candidate was eloquent in his communication and was very neat and presentable. When it comes to decision making, the committee observed that the candidate proved to be good in decision making, problem solving, thus making him suitable to deal with any kind of pressure that comes with the job. Mr. Speaker, the committee took in consideration the scores of the candidate as well as proceedings of the approval hearings and made the finding hereunder. 1. The candidate had a good understanding of the functions of the chief officer and possessed good technical expertise on issues related to position for which he had been nominated. The candidate have a vast knowledge on the risk, disaster management, and emergencies that may arise, and also he is knowledgeable on the right organizations and international bodies to liaise with in his work.
About this motion, I have heard a lot about the quality of these nominees, and I accept and But I see they have not included people with disabilities. So they've included the women. Maybe next time they will include the CEOs in disabled CEOs in that position to encourage the same. So the nominated, the one who was the nominated MCA before, I see he has experience in environmental problems. So I'm sure that she can solve the problems that we have about the environment in Kirinyaga County. So many roads we see, for example, in Kagio, they are very dry, in irrigation problems with the rice irrigation. So maybe we can solve all that in that docket. I'm very happy about this nomination. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, we shall also be indulging the County Assembly's forum to also speak to the National Assembly so that the Public Procurement and Disposal Act is amended to make sure that the process of procurement does not take so long before a contract is awarded. He said the challenge has been and is today the delays in the process, and this one has been caused by the Act. Mr. Speaker, finally, Caritas Otieno was charged to say and state to the County Assembly of Kirinyaga whether at the committee level, the committee of the procurement committees in various departments, he's been having challenges with them. He said the few challenges, the little challenges that he's been having, they are going to be fixed as soon as he assumes office. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I support this motion. I support the appointment of Caritas Otieno, and every one of us is looking forward. And we told in point blank, we are looking forward to make sure that monies are released on time and budget interpretation to all other departments is conducted as soon as possible.
Irrigation services is an adaptation measure against the adverse effects of climate change. We require these two offices in our county, Mr. Speaker, sir, at least to ensure that our people are able to adapt well to the evidence. They're already, to adapt to the climate change, which is evident currently. We've seen water bodies drying up. We've seen our crops in the farms drying when they are not yet to maturity. And when we have these offices and working well, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure the county will be able to withstand the strong adverse effect of climate change. The two candidates that the committee vetted, that is Ms. Maureen Muthoni Mwangi and Mr. Peter Moremi-Njeru, they demonstrated ability to serve in the two offices, Mr. Speaker. And I must mention that Mr. Peter Moremi-Njeru was very informed on water and irrigation services, Mr. Speaker. The knowledge that man portrayed that day, we were amazed. He is equal to the task, and we are comfortable that upon the approval by this Honorable House, this gentleman is going to serve this county.
Far and much ahead, being the chief officer in that department, that will be able to be recording even the honorable members, is one person who picks people's calls, Mr. Speaker. When he's just quiet, when you are seated with him, you see Jage Gashege, even in social time, even at night. Gashege is a person who starts working. When he sees something, he wants to act on it, he keeps himself quiet, Mr. Speaker, and the next minute you find in social media he has posted something, and he is always positive, Mr. Speaker. He is not there to spoil anybody's name or Mr. Speaker. So I stand to support the Jage Gashege to this department and wish him well as he continue working for us, Mr. Speaker. I also want to thank the honorable members, Mr. Speaker, that when we pass these members,